Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always, Always Everything You Want. My name's Michael Roman, and today we're getting into the prequel that has been confirmed by HBO. We finally got the plot synopsis and some details. Before we get into that, if you could grab the subscribe button, maybe hit the alert button right next to it to keep up to date with my videos, drop a comment or do a like. I'm actually doing a Iron Man trilogy commemorative plaque giveaway. I'll get into that at the end of this video, but all you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment. So finally, we found out about one of the prequel series that HBO is spinning over there. With the success of Game of Thrones, they're not going to let it die. They sent 5 prequel series to pre-production, and this is the first of which has been ordered to pilot. If you don't know anything about shows, especially at networks, quite often getting a pilot doesn't mean you've actually got a show. The pilot has to go well, and then they will test screen the pilot, and then sometimes they'll even do recasting. If you guys know about the original Game of Thrones series, there were actually some different actors. For instance, the girl who played Daenerys was not Emilia Clarke in the Game of Thrones pilot. So there's still a long way to go with this, and I wouldn't be expecting to see the actual title of this, anything as far as episode or season details or anything like that anytime soon. It's going to be a while. The pilot means that we're still a couple years off, but we do know some details now about it. So if this one does end up becoming a full-on prequel series, it's called Age of Heroes, and to ultra cliff notes the synopsis, it talks about it's going to take from the golden age of heroes all over the map, so not just in Westeros, but in the East, and presumably the creation of the Valyrian stronghold as well. Remember, in the books, this is some 5,000 or 6,000 years off. TV show has liberty to compress the timeline quite a bit, so this is about 1,000 years ago, but we're going to get to see the origin of a lot of the things that were hinted at in this Game of Thrones series. So like the creation of the first Night King, the creation of some of these famous houses like House Stark or House Lannister. We're going to see probably the creation of the Valyrian stronghold. We're going to get to see all of the things that we heard about that were sort of myth and legend thousands of years or 1,000 years before the show that we're watching now. We're actually going to get to see that on screen. And I think it's probably going to be centered around the creation of the first Night King, right? While there is no proof that the Night King is a member of House Stark, that's what the strongest theories and details have suggested. And so I would think that will probably be maybe the culmination of that series. Now, what I don't think they'll do is I don't think they'll take us through the first long night, because that would just sort of be a rehashing of what Game of Thrones is doing, right? Like, how do we win the long night? It would feel very weird to go through a 7 or 8 or even 10 season series, or shorter. I'm not sure how long these prequels will run, but it would be weird to go through a series like that where all of a sudden we're watching like some of the same battles, like a battle outside Winterfell against the White Walkers, even though it's the first long night. We've kind of already done that, right? We're doing that right now. The only other detail that I found extremely interesting, and if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you're going to want to know this, is that D.B. Weiss and David Benioff, the executive producers and did some of the writing, but the directing on the show, they're moving on. It's not clear whether any of the writers will be retained from any of the episodes, and they've used several during Game of Thrones. But D.B. Weiss and David Benioff are deep in Game of Thrones Season 8. They've been filming now for what is like almost a year. The show won't come out for another year, so they've got another year of post-production in front of them. There are names attached. You can look them up. No one that made me excited, that's for sure. The only person that will be involved with that series that was involved with the Game of Thrones series is, you guessed it, George R.R. Martin himself. And as someone who's a huge fan of Weiss and Benioff and what they've done for this series, I was disappointed to hear they won't be attached. But hey, you know, things change, and there's a huge Game of Thrones world out there, and they also have careers where they're going to do other things, i.e. they got brought on to do a Star Wars movie. So I'm sure they're looking to expand their horizons and not work on Game of Thrones for the rest of their life as well. So there's a lot that could be said there about it being disappointing, but we're just going to have to wait to see how the people who have the new franchise are going to handle it. Thanks for checking out the channel, guys. Like I said, I am doing a giveaway. Let's get into that now before I let you go. We're giving away this Trendsetters limited edition, limited number 2500 commemoration plaque of the Iron Man trilogy. Each plaque contains 6 film cells from the movie. This is Marvel license. It's super awesome. All you got to do is be a subscriber of my channel and drop a comment on this or any of my other videos. I am going to start doing Game of Thrones content regularly, and that will ramp up when we get closer to the show, of course, next year. But I'll be doing it throughout the summer. Thanks for checking me out. Grab the subscribe button, and I will see you guys soon.